warm welcome to TBN Main News, bringing you the best in local and international news. I am Kamea Jamal Mukasa. The headlines. ECZ begins voter registration in correctional facilities. Zambians must reject attempts to ridicule the Electoral Commission of Zambia. I am ready to refund the money, Vincent Mwale. Commerce PS admits that micro businesses have over the years been overlooked. 66-year-old Nakonde man murdered. Stakeholders told reinforce the sensitization of communities on the COVID-19 preventive guidelines. Contractor halts works at Kazungula Bridge again after Zambia fails to pay. International news. Large gaps remain after trade talks with Ursula von der Leyen. And in sports news, Paolo Rossi, Italy's 1982 World Cup hero, dies at 64. Now the news in details. The Electoral Commission of Zambia has commenced voter registration in correctional facilities. A check at Lusaka Central Correctional Facility in Lusaka revealed that a number of inmates have registered to vote in the 2021 general elections. According to Lusaka Central Correctional Facility officer in charge, Senior Superintendent Kenan Masase, the facility has 1,224 male inmates, with 603 inmates requiring to obtain national registration cards to allow them to register as voters. He said the National Registration and Passport Office have set base at the correctional facility to issue NRCs as ECZ is conducting voter registration. Senior Superintendent Masase said the process is going on well since it was commenced. Patriotic Front Lusaka Provincial Secretary Kennedy Kamba has observed with concern the continued tendency by the opposition and some civil society organizations to discredit the Electoral Commission of Zambia. He has expressed dismay at the systematic maneuvering by the opposition and some civil society organizations trying by whatever means possible to discredit the Electoral Commission of Zambia on a daily basis and trying to portray a picture that they are not capable of handling the 2021 general elections. He said the country should believe in the electoral body as stakeholders and never involve in its sheer politics. He mentioned that commissioners and indeed management at ECZ are doing everything possible, working around the clock to ensure that they put up a credible, free and fair general election come 2021, starting with the ongoing voter registration exercise. He said the opposition, UPND, and their allies have put up systematic attack on the ECZ because they know they are losing even in 2021 general elections, but they want to shift the blame on the electoral body, even when it is clear that it's actually the opposition which is not ready to compete with the ruling party, Patriotic Front. He has since advised the opposition to leave the ECZ alone to let them do their job in peace. He further said the opposition, UPND, Chishimba Kambwili's NDC, and others know very well that they don't have numbers and that they are unpopular, hence their attempts to declare elections a sham even before a vote is cast. Mr. Kamba said the opposition are scared and just cry babies and urged them to leave the ECZ alone and just work hard and stop the blame game. Chipangali Member of Parliament Vincent Mwale says he is ready to pay back the money he accrued in payments when he remained in office as minister after Parliament dissolved in 2016. Mr. Mwale, who is also Minister of Housing and Infrastructure Development, said that he will pay back the money now that he knows how much he is supposed to pay to refund the government. The Chipangali MP is among the 64 former ministers who stayed in office and continued to draw payments after Parliament was dissolved prior to the 2016 general elections. Mr. Mwale stressed that although he is yet to receive official communication on how to make payments, he is more than ready to pay. Mr. Mwale indicated that he hopes to pay back the money through monthly deductions from his salary, or in case he fails to manage to do so, payments can be made from his benefits. According to the Constitutional Court's calculations, Mr. Mwale is supposed to pay back 60,434.87 kwacha. On December 7, 2020, the Constitutional Court released a schedule determining the amounts each of the 64 ex-ministers, some of whom are serving in the current cabinet, is supposed to pay back to the government. We go on a short break. Stay tuned.
Roy, what are you working on?
I'm just trying to make sure I play my part for our country's future.
What are you talking about, man?
The Electoral Commission of Zambia is conducting voter registration exercise for all eligible Zambian citizens. The current voters card will not be used in the 2021 general elections. Both first-time voters and the ones that already have voters cards from previous voter registration exercises will need to register to obtain new cards in order to vote in the 2021 general elections.
So, do you mean I won't be able to vote in the 2021 general elections if I don't register?
No, boy, you will not be able to vote.
Register to vote. It's your right. This message is brought to you by the Electoral Commission of Zambia.
Education is a passport to the future, for tomorrow belongs to those who prepare for it today. It is the most powerful weapon you can use to change the world. Develop your passion of learning with Trinity University, a faith-based institution located in mass media area off Alikinkata Road, after Football House and immediately after ERB offices. We offer the following courses: in School of Health Sciences, Registered Nursing Diploma, Bachelor of Science Public Health, BSc Architecture, in School of Humanities, Social Sciences and Theology, Conflict and Peace Studies Diploma and Degree, BA Theology, BA Development Studies, BA Social Work, BEd Primary, BEd Secondary. In Graduate Studies, Masters in Development Studies, Masters in Social Work, Masters in Theology, PhD in Social Work, PhD in Development Studies, PhD in Theology, PhD in Literacy and Development. For more information, visit trinityuniversity.edu.zm or call +260 954 118414 +260 963 592588 +260 762 166320. Trinity University, inspiring innovation and excellence.
Welcome back. Government said there is need to formulate interventions that will benefit macro businesses, as they constitute about 95% of businesses in the country. Commerce, Trade and Industry Permanent Secretary Mushuma Mulenga says it is unfortunate that micro businesses have over the years been overlooked. Mr. Mulenga noted that most macro businesses could not benefit from government incentives meant for SMEs as they could not meet the stipulated requirements due to low turnover and other factors. He said this during a consultative meeting with the Livingstone Chamber of Commerce in Livingstone. He further stressed the need for effective policy implementation to address the various challenges entrepreneurs are facing on the ground. Mr. Mulenga urged the Livingstone Chamber of Commerce to take the lead in ensuring government implements the relevant policies. And Livingstone Chamber of Commerce President Namakausi Anga implored the Ministry of Commerce through its statutory bodies to enhance collaboration with the Chamber of Commerce in order to timely identify the constraints affecting the private sector along the different value chains of the economy. Ms. Sianga said for the country to attain meaningful economic growth, there was need to concentrate on implementing policies that have been formulated and enhance monitoring and evaluation in order to track progress and record impacts. A 66-year-old man of Mbawe village in Nakonde district in Muchinga province has been murdered by unknown people. The development has been confirmed by Muchinga Province Police Commissioner Joel Njase. Mr. Njase said Rightwell Sinkala was last seen on Monday around 05 hours in the morning when he went to his maize field 5 kilometers away from his home. The police commissioner added that Sinkala was discovered dead in his field, facing down with a deep cut on the neck. The police chief added that the motive for the murder is not yet known and that investigations into the matter have been instituted. while the body of the deceased is currently deposited at Nakonde District Hospital awaiting post-mortem and burial. Meanwhile, the Mchinga Province Police Command has called on the Community Crime Prevention Unit, CCPU, to continue working hard and in collaboration with other defense forces in the region in order to zero in on the criminals. Mr. Njase has also appealed to the aged people in the villages to avoid moving long distances alone but should be accompanied by someone. The police commissioner has warned the perpetrators of such violent acts that the long arm of the law will catch up with them and that they will be dealt with accordingly. The Chililawombwe District Epidemic Preparedness Committee has called on stakeholders in the area to reinforce the sensitization of communities on the coronavirus preventive guidelines. The committee, which is led by District Commissioner Roy Ngosa, observed that people had dropped their guard in adhering to the recommended practices, posing a threat of another wave of the pandemic. Most people have stopped adhering to the guidelines, among them social distancing, wearing of face masks, and hand washing or sanitizing, following the recently experienced reduction in the COVID-19 positive cases being recorded across the country. The contractor working on Kazungula Bridge, Dewu, has suspended construction works due to non-payment of debt it is owed by the Zambian government. In a letter dated 5th December 2020, Dewu Engineering and Construction Company project manager Tai Kim complained over the Zambian government's delay to fulfill its obligation. Mr. Kim says his company had requested for financial arrangements, but it has not received any feedback from the central government. Mr. Kim said, looking at the financial climate in Zambia with the Eurobond default, the contractor feels greatly discouraged. He says the company will now prioritize the balance of its running costs to pay employees' wages. In March 2019, construction works at $260 million Kazungula Bridge were stopped after Dewu Engineering and Construction, the contractor in charge of the development, shut down the site due to non-payment by the Zambian government. Let's go on a short break. Stay tuned.
ninsambusha mwina Zambia wonse ofikirepo okulembesha bukasala okulembesha okuletwa n'abakabungwa ka Electoral Commission of Zambia mukusala kwa chinkumbawiro kwa mwaka wa 2021
okutendeka pa 9 November okufika pa 12 December 2020.
abena Zambia bonse abakweta akatupa ka mutwe n'emyaka 18 n'okuchirapo ero n'abale kumanya emyaka 18 ilo chilefika nangu pa 9 May 2021 n'abafikapo okulembesha bukasala wa mwaka wa 2021 ngate mulembesha bukasala nishita mwakasaleko mukusala kwa chinkumbawiro kwa mwaka wa 2021 lembesha ni bukasala n'okupoka akatupa kakusalira po akapya pantu tutupa twakale twakusalira po tatu akabombe mukusala kwa mwaka wa 2021 ukwa chinkumbawire
lembesha inokusala ninsambushenu imbila abamiletereko bakabungwe kamuna pakusala aka Electoral Commission of Zambia ECZ.
Welcome back. And in international news, Boris Johnson's dinner with EU Chief Ursula von der Leyen aimed at breaking the Brexit trade deadlock has ended without agreement. Downing Street said very large gaps remain, but talks will continue with a firm decision by Sunday on whether a deal can be reached. Mrs. von der Leyen said the two sides were still far apart. Talks between the UK's chief negotiator Lord Frost and the EU's Michael Barnier will resume in Brussels later. The two negotiators also attended the 3-hour dinner meeting between the two leaders. The BBC's Laura Queensberg said the evening had plainly gone badly and the chances of the UK leaving the post-Brexit transition period at the end of the year without firm arrangement was a big step closer. Meanwhile, US President-elect Joe Biden's son, Hunter, has said his tax affairs are under investigation. The investigation is being conducted by federal prosecutors in Delaware. Hunter Biden said he took the case very seriously but was confident an objective review would show he had handled his affairs legally and appropriately. The Biden-Harris transition team said the president-elect was deeply proud of his son. A statement from the team said Hunter had fought through difficult challenges, including the vicious personal attacks of recent months, only to emerge stronger. The 50-year-old said he had learned of the investigation on Tuesday. He did not disclose any further information. And in sports news, former Italian footballer Paolo Rossi, who led the national team to victory in the 1982 World Cup, has died aged 64, his family says. His wife Federica Capelletti posted on Instagram a picture of them together with the words "per sempre," meaning forever in Italian. She said not disclose the cause of his death, whilst Italian media reported that he had a long illness. Rossi was the top scorer and the best player of the 1982 tournament in Spain. At club level, the striker was also a prolific goal scorer of Vicenza. He also played for a number of other Serie A outfits, including Juventus and Inter Milan. After retiring from football in the late 1980s, Rossi worked as a pundit for Sky Media, SET and RAI. In 2004, he was named Brazilian legend Pelé as one of the top 125 greatest living footballers. As we wrap up the news, let's look at our headlines. ECZ begins voter registration in correctional facilities. Zambians must reject attempts to ridicule the Electoral Commission of Zambia. I am ready to refund the money, Vincent Mwale. Commerce PS admits that macro businesses have over the years been overlooked. 66-year-old Nakonde man murdered. Stakeholders told to reinforce the sensitization of communities on the COVID-19 preventive guidelines. Contractor halts works at Kazungula Bridge again after Zambia fails to pay. And in international news, large gaps remain after trade talks with Ursula von der Leyen. And in sports news, Paolo Rossi, Italy's 1982 World Cup hero, dies at 64. As we get to the end of the news, remember to always put on a face mask, sanitize, and keep social distancing. Remember to register as a voter, for it is your right. From me and the TBN News crew, it's bye-bye.